We're getting closer and closer to Cali. Our Hawks are going all the way. Spirit 105.3, I'm Erica with our very special guest. He used to play for our Seahawks. Now he's an analyst for Fox 13, Bryan Walters. Welcome to the morning show. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm feeling real hopeful, Bryan. I got to tell you, what are you most looking forward to covering the big game right there in Santa Clara?
I'm excited to just kind of see how it all works. You know, I've never gone to the Super Bowl like this. I'm looking forward to the other side of things, the media side, the radio row side of things. I just hear it's absolutely chaotic. I mean, just 100 plus people doing their radio shows all in one big convention center and walking around, just kind of, just seeing how it all works. I mean, it's just kind of a foreign concept to me. And then I'm also looking forward to just connecting with a lot of old teammates, old, people that I've faced and played against or so in the past. They'll be all there. So I'm going to run into a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while. And so just connecting with old faces will be a lot of fun. And going down there with the broadcast team, the Seahawks broadcast team, getting together. It's always fun when we get to travel for the playoff games like this. And, all home field this year, so we didn't get to travel much. So this is our first travel game, and we always have a good time. So there's a lot to look forward to, and just obviously, hopefully, Seahawks can come out on top.
Oh, I am hoping. Nobody really saw this coming for the longest time. Did you? And how hopeful are you that we're going to win this thing?
Hey, I have to say, I knew the Seahawks team was going to be really good. I really did. And before the season, I think I predicted 12 wins or something like that. So I didn't give as much credit as deserved. So it was. It's been a heck of a season for the Seahawks. And look, they're the better team. I mean, I think that's the obvious thing. They are the better team on paper, on tape, everything about them. They are the better team. But you look at both these teams in every single game. I mean, which is crazy to me. That what are the Patriots? They're 17-3. And their 3 losses are by 7 or points or less. The Seahawks' 3 losses are combined total of 9 points. I mean, so these teams have been absolutely the most competitive teams you can possibly be all season long. And none of them were ever blown out or anything. So you just have to assume this is going to be a very, very close game.
Okay.
Just the way the teams have been going. So look, Seahawks should come out on top. I think they've been in a lot of these close games before. They have that experience. And have usually found a way to have that one play that really puts them over the top. And that's what I think this game will come down to, too. No different than what the season's gone.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that. Okay, you have actually played in a big game with our Hawks. Do you sleep the night before? What goes on in your mind and your brain and your heart?
You're bringing me back. It's been a while since I played a big game like this. But, you're so exhausted, I would say, from the prep and the week that you get into that hotel room and lights off, you crash. You really do. I slept well. I didn't have much anxiety the night before games. Now you wake up and breakfast might be a little tough to get down, and you're just kind of you're a little nervous. You got the butterfly feeling. That's the day of, but the night before, I really had no issues, and I'm sure it's different. I'm sure a lot of people are up just staring at the ceiling, excited, going through everything in their head. But I always tried to just take a step back and calm everything down and realize I can't make a play the night before. So you got to kind of get yourself away from it a little bit and figure out how that your best performance would be with rest. So whatever that is, whatever you have to do to get yourself on top that way.
Oh, that is so good. I actually feel like I can apply that advice to my life. Bryan, I want to go back to little Bryan Walters. When you were throwing the football around with somebody you love, did you ever imagine yourself at a big game, either playing in it or covering it for Fox?
Well, I mean, yes, all the time. I mean, that, going out in the street and with, one of my best friends growing up, my dad was the all-time quarterback, and you just kind of go one-on-one with each other for hours out there on the street throwing a ball, but mimicking situations. All right, you're down by 5, 3 seconds left. You need this, and he throws it up and catch it and celebrate like you just won the Super Bowl. And I remember that. I remember things like that growing up, playing. Whenever it snowed out here in Seattle, going out and playing in a snow football game, and just with your buddies getting tackled, and you always put those situations in, and that made it really surreal, to be honest with you. Back in 2013, actually technically 2014, when the Super Bowl actually was, that we won the Super Bowl, and you just kind of look up, you see the confetti going, and you're like, wow, this is what you grew up kind of just envisioning, and it's pretty surreal.
Oh, I bet. Okay, you grew up in this area, which is fantastic. So you are very familiar with the 12s, right? And so what did their support mean to you as a player?
One of my biggest memories of that Super Bowl, and there's a lot of memories, I'll tell you that, like a ton of memories, but one that just stands out above the rest is the travel days and going to the airport, going to the plane, getting home from the Super Bowl, going to the VMAC where we all go and, get our cars and drive home, and just the lines of people, lines of 12s. It's all just on each side of the road, cheering, and the bus is just going super slow. We all have our phones out videoing because it's like nothing we've ever seen before, and just cheering you on no matter what, sending you away, like good luck, signs everywhere. I mean, the whole way to the airport, just nonstop. I mean, I think the trip usually takes us about 10 minutes to get there. And, it probably took us like 30 to 45 minutes because we were just slowly going through. But I mean, it's just, it really is the best fan base in the NFL, just the passion they have for this team. And I grew up a huge Seahawks fan. I grew up very close to the organization. My great aunt used to work for the Seahawks at the time. They were in Kirkland at their headquarters. So I was around it occasionally. And, huge fan of a lot of guys growing up, and was able to meet a couple of their first Super Bowl that they went to in 2006. I was a senior in high school, and I was able to connect with a couple guys like Sean Alexander and Lofa Tatupu, the stars back then. And I remember just being starstruck at the time, like, oh my gosh, these are the Seahawks. Here we go. And then, I was a senior in high school. I was able to have like lunch or something with them. And it was just one of my fondest memories as well. So yeah, I grew up a huge Seahawks fan. I was a 12, so I think that's what makes it so much more fun to see them go on this run, and then our runs back in the day, just knowing how excited all the people in the city are.
I feel so proud to be a 12. Bryan Walters, thank you so much. I've got Max here who has a couple of quick questions for you, my colleague. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right, hang on. And go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Here's Max.
Hey, Bryan, thanks for coming on with us. Glad we were able to make this work.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for being flexible.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you more about growing up. I know what it's like. I grew up on the east side as well, and it's super meaningful for me to see, the team that we grew up rooting for go to the Super Bowl. But I want to understand, how meaningful was it for you to get to play in the Super Bowl for the Seahawks, and now getting to cover the team that you grew up rooting for?
Yeah, it's the best of both worlds. And I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was playing, I never saw what I'm doing now coming. Like, I never did. I never thought that I'd be on this side of things because I don't know. You just don't really look ahead like that, and it wasn't anything I had ever thought about for my future. But first off, just obviously winning it, first one in franchise history. It was again, I use the word surreal. I mean, it really was. It's still hard to believe. You kind of look back and you don't believe it. You go, wow, that was a Super Bowl. That's crazy. And you kind of have to pinch yourself here and there. But then now, I mean, it's been so fun. The team is so good right now. I mean, they are. And so it's always fun to cover a good team. I mean, as bad as that sounds, it's not like it's not fun to cover a bad team, but this is just so much better. And it's almost bringing back all kinds of memories from 2013, 2014, because everyone's always comparing this team to that team, as because the only team that has won a Super Bowl. They're like, oh, is this team as good? What are the differences? And it's really been fun to kind of go back and kind of reflect on that and see and connect with some former teammates. We got together last week 2 weeks ago now, before the NFC Championship game. There was a bunch of us came in town, or a bunch of guys came into town. We all had met up for a dinner, and it was probably 20 of us or so, just kind of, again, just sitting around in a room and having dinner and just kind of rehashing the memories. And it's been such a good time. But, so I would feel very fortunate, very blessed to be able to win one as a player, and then also go and cover a team that wins one in the broadcasting world.
Yeah, and a lot of people have made the comparisons to those teams that you played on, but I'm curious, in your opinion, who's the Bryan Walters on this year's team?
Well, let's see here. Who is the Bryan Walters on this year's team? Well, you got to go with the wide receivers. Actually, here's a guy. So, my role on that team was always just, you got to be ready to go all the time, right? I was back up to Percy Harvin, I was back up to Doug Baldwin. Those are pretty good receivers in Seattle sports. And so just be ready to go. And I think a guy who's really done that well this year and been that guy is a guy named Ty Okada, the safety. And the reason it's just because he's been thrown in there. You've had Julian Love get injured. You've had Kobe Bryant get injured and go down. And he's had to step in, not knowing when he's going to have to, kind of prepping like he's going to play every game, but doesn't know if he really is going to. And he's had to step in and really fill a role. And I think that's been really valuable for the Seahawks team to have that kind of depth. So I'll go the defensive route there and go that way as say Ty Okada.
Yeah, I like that answer. I wasn't sure where you're going to go with that, but I like it. And last thing I have for you, I know players sometimes struggle when their playing careers end. What do I do next? I've played football my entire life. How do I figure out some purpose in this next chapter? How was that journey for you, and how rewarding has it been to find some fun things to do still around the game and getting to be in broadcasting?
Yeah, it has been a journey, that's for sure. It is. I mean, you're not wrong. It is tough. I mean, I went 2 years about still training and trying to play, after my career was kind of done. 2 years thinking like, I got this. I can still play. I can still play. It's a tough transition. And then you kind of get out of it. And I mean, my story is I kind of stopped watching football for a couple of years, maybe a year or two. It's like, I'm done with it. Done with football right now. Like, and then, started a little business with a buddy I went to college with. And then I still am lucky because the broadcasting world kind of fell into my lap as far as the Seahawks being a hometown guy from here. They have their pre and post game show that they do every single game. And this is about 4 years ago now, maybe 3 years ago. The Seahawks, you just sent me an email. Hey, Bryan, like, are you in town? You're here. Like, do you want to sub for this person on our pregame show here this week? And I was like, I don't know if that sounds like very much fun. I don't want to just talk about these guys all day, every day. But all right, let's just do it. Let's see what it's all about. And I did it, and I absolutely loved it. It was so fun, and was able to sub a couple times that game or that year. And then from there on, I was just more of a regular. And then now, obviously, here we are. So it's just one of those things you just never expect. I never expected I'd be doing it, and here I am loving it and experiencing it and kind of just trying to go for it. So it's been quite the ride, quite the experience, and it's fun I will say it is fun to be back in football. It is fun to be watching film again and studying teams and going through all the stuff like I did when I was a player.
Yeah, well, it's awesome getting to see you on TV covering the Hawks on Fox 13. Bryan Walters, thanks for coming on with us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.